Alright, so here's our Dickinson Newport diesel heater. This is how we heat our boat. So when I was actually trying to get this to start, it took me like 3 or 4 days of messing with this to get it to run right. And I'm actually going on vacation here soon, so Amy's going to learn how to get this thing working so she can keep herself warm here in Alaska. When we looked at videos, there wasn't very many videos kind of describing how to use this thing properly, so we decided to make a video on it. I want to show how we set it up, how we clean it, and then how we start it, how we run it, and then when it's running long term, what the flame should actually look like. So this is going to be the start. She's going to start right now. What she's going to do is she's going to open up the valve and allow fuel to come in. If you look down in here, I'm going to put you down in here. It's empty of fuel right now. I'll show you what it looks like in a second when we turn on the fuel port and pretty much prime it with fuel for the first light. We'll be back in a second. I'll show you how much that is. Alright, so we're back. It's been about 15 minutes. That's what we have for the flow. That's what we started with. It's a nice pool of diesel down there. What we do is I get a piece of paper, I roll it into a wick like this, and we'll soak it with diesel to more than half of the wick. Right, so this is how much diesel we'd put on the wick. Like I said, about 70% of it, 75% of it, doesn't matter. So when we clean these off, one thing you want to make sure is that the bottom of this is pretty much bare metal, and you want it flat on that ring right there with the hole where the fuel flows through exposed, as you'll see. Right there, she's got it perfect. And then this is a burn ring. It's just to keep heat down in the burn chamber. And then this goes on the very top. This is a sulfur ring. This keeps heat down on top of the burn ring just to keep this newer diesel burning better. So that's that. And here we go. We're about to start it in a whole second. But that's how you set it up. All clean, wick, everything else. She can go ahead and light it.
I need a lighter.
Alright, she's going to light it.
Oh, literally immediately went out.
Yeah, because you didn't let it burn. Alright, she's about to light it. Tip it down, let it burn for a second.
Is it in there? No. Did I get it?
Should be good for now. Close it. So alright, she's got the wick down in there. Hopefully it's burning the diesel. We're going to turn on, there's a little fan. So a draft assist fan just kind of helps the diesel burn the wick and get everything hot. And once this burns, it's going to burn like this for a minute, and I'll pretty much speed up the video, or I'll cut to when it gets to where it's supposed to go. If I don't think the paper, the wick is burning enough, I'm going to add more fuel to hopefully get this fire to ignite all of that diesel. If you don't have a draft assist fan, it will be harder to light your diesel fire. It's just kind of how it is. Right now, it's kind of smoking a lot, and I would say it's getting a little, I would turn the fuel down for a second. Let it heat up. And I'll turn the fuel back on. So at this moment, if you can look right here, if you look at the fire's changed, it's kind of moved all the way around the ring. This tells you that the diesel is now actually lit and it's not just burning off of the wick. When this fire starts to crawl up, I don't know if you can see it too well. Let me turn this off. So when this fire starts to crawl up, I'm gonna turn this all the way off. So when this fire starts to crawl all the way up, you can see it's building on the sides of the wall. It's underneath the fire ring at this moment. It's building and it's getting that fire ring really hot. Once that fire ring gets hot, you're gonna watch the fire draw down, and then it's gonna immediately come above the fire ring, and then you'll know the fire's established. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit right now, and I'm actually gonna shut off my draft fan. The draft fan should it should settle down, and it should establish above the ring. Now that have the draft fan off and I'm manning the fuel for a second. Now what you'll do is anytime you're doing an adjustment, you'll wait about 10-15 minutes before doing another adjustment, mainly because the adjustments work slowly. You got to think of it as if you're adding fuel, it adds heat and adds burn rate. So just because you're adding fuel doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be burning too rich or too lean. It might just mean it's burning hotter. But if it's burning hotter, it can also consume more fuel. So it could, you know, if you turn it up and you think it's dousing itself out, you maybe need to wait the additional time for it to burn off the excess fuel, get hot enough, get everything's flowing right, and then it works. Same with going in reverse. If you're turning it down, it might still be burning off all the fuel that's there before it actually turns down. So right now, this is actually a perfect flame. You have barely, so that yellow in there, you kind of want the yellow to go away, but that blue is perfect. Blue above the ring. It's not licking too much out, and I mean, that's getting kind of hot, but that's perfect where you want it. If it licks out too much fuel, you're burning too rich, or it's just getting too much fuel, realistically, and not enough draft. And at the moment, this is how it is. I'll update in a second. What you usually do is I have a fan that pushes everything around, so this thing's not quite hot yet. What I do is I let this get pretty much to where it'll burn you to the touch, and then I turn on the fan and it circulates the heat around. Warm. Think you can start it?
Yeah.